All right, Bitcoin holding above 47,000, hitting a 3-month high earlier this morning. Joining me now, the Chamber of Digital Commerce founder, Perianne Boring. Perianne, the action of Bitcoin, other cryptos in the past week, even a little bit longer, I think has been absolutely amazing. And of course, they've managed to erase all the losses from earlier this year. What do you attribute this to? What sparked this rally?
This has just been an incredible past couple of months for the digital asset ecosystem. Just a couple of months ago, we saw in Canada many people start to rely on Bitcoin as they were being cut off from their financial system due to the trucker situation and the political environment. And then just more recently, Ukraine has raised over $100 million in donations from the people of the world in cryptocurrency, and it's really demonstrated on the world stage the application of Bitcoin, which is a digital gold. And this is leading to increased institutional demand. It takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days for a new institutional client to get onboarded with their broker. And so we're now starting to see that demand. Just yesterday, Larry Fink of BlackRock said that they are seeing an increased interest from their clients. And then further, we're also seeing rising prices in the commodity markets overall. Yeah. Bitcoin, Ether, these are commodities. They're regulated as commodities by the CFTC. So this is certainly consistent with what we're seeing across other commodity markets.
Speaking of regulations and regulators, think about that. I mean, the humanitarian use of Bitcoin, particularly in Ukraine, how, these truckers, had their, first they had their livelihoods threatened and then they had their lives taken because they couldn't even pay their mortgages. Do you think this could sway some of the folks who seem to have ingrained negative feelings about this? People in power, the Janet Yellens of the world, the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. Do you think maybe seeing this, to your point, on the world stage can start to sway Washington not to think of this as the enemy?
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, President Biden released his executive order on digital assets. And that executive order stated that they believe this technology is going to be a critical and emerging technology for the 21st century. And then they also went so far as to say that the United States must be a leader in developing and growing and implementing this technology. So absolutely, I think that was really a breakthrough moment for our space and a huge validation of the key role this technology is going to play in the global markets.
Meanwhile, a number of environmental groups launched a campaign looking into Bitcoin's code to decrease its energy use, saying that crypto is, quote, contributing too much to global warming. We've heard this before. It's one of the reasons it was run out of a couple of countries. Your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, that is a myth. Proof of work is the most secure mechanism, and proof of work is what runs the Bitcoin network. It is the most secure way to confirm and record blockchain transactions. So there is energy usage, but what you're getting with that is security. There are other blockchains that use less energy, but you're trading off security. So we need to be very, very careful about how we approach this conversation. And then further, it's estimated that around 60% of all the energy that's being used to mine Bitcoin today is coming from sustainable energy sources, which would make Bitcoin one of the most sustainable industries in the world. So we really need to think about what we're saying here and look at the facts and look at the data about how this technology actually works and what energy consumption and usage looks like.
Well, that's why we bring you on, because there's a lot of folks out there still pushing back, but you eloquently and articulated that in a way that I think the curmudgeons and the folks who just don't believe are going to have to start listening one way or the other. Perianne, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.